starting the girl on fire. So I'm finally getting around to the Hunger Games, and again, don't have the book. If you didn't see my last video, I did tell you that, but I read the series. I actually borrowed it from a friend. So, fun story, my friend said that she would read The Lightning Thief if I read The Hunger Games. She did read The Lightning Thief, but I did end up reading The Hunger Games, and I actually did find them really interesting, and I did really like them. For the most part. And you'll kind of get the gist of why I liked them, especially at first, and then kind of just slowly fell apart for me. But let's talk about Katniss, because these aren't complete book reviews, and I've already done my world review for The Hunger Games. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I explain why The Hunger Games world would never, ever, 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 ever happen. So, if you want to go see that, go ahead and check it out. And by the way, I am still doing some world reviews. I'm currently trying to figure out all the science that I need to for Divergent and, you know, all that stuff for how close we are and kind of thing, because I honestly am not sure, but just as a heads up, letting you guys know. But as for Katniss Everdeen, I did start out really liking her. Like I said, I started out really liking her. I really liked how strong and independent she was. I loved that she went up for her sister, and I loved how family-oriented she was. She was mostly concerned with making sure that her sister had the smallest possible chance for going to the Hunger Games. And apparently the odds were not in her favor, because somehow Prim's name got picked. Somehow. In some way. With those chances, if the lottery was still around, Prim should probably enter in that. Because, I mean, she only had her name in there, one name in there. So I did really like that that was going on. I did really like her side of that. But then she got to the games. And don't get me wrong, I love how she did defy them, and she like shot the arrow at them, and also in the second one where she did that painting of Rue. See, there are very few points in books that actually bring me close to tears. See, I've only ever cried for a book one time. Once. But there are and then there are a couple moments that do bring me close to tears. Rue's death was one of them. And her doing that was another one of them. Especially thinking about that now, because now I'm like coming close to tears. Because I hate that. It's like in your head you're going, they're all gonna get out okay, but then they just the killing starts, and it's like inevitable, and it's like you're just in this eternal state of denial. Really, it is. But besides that, so I did like that side of her, and I did like how she was also realizing how she needed to play for the cameras, but at the same time she didn't want to play for the cameras, but she still did anyway, and she was also very aware of the cameras, like trying to get sympathy for being pregnant, doing that side of the thing. And it was also strange because if she knew that the cameras were there, she was very, I guess, camera shy or stuttery. But then if she didn't know, and she was just enraged, and, you know, the emotions were going, then we got that amazing speech from her. Okay, that was an amazing and awesome speech. But really, it's only those fiery moments that I actually really like Katniss. And I know that all of you are probably going to say that, you know, of course, why don't you like her? She's an awesome fighter. And yeah, it is awesome that she learned how to use a bow. It is, and I do love the characteristics she has of being that caring person. When she's with her family, that's when I love it the most. Her, like, being strong and telling her mom straight up, you cannot shut down again. Prim needs you. You cannot shut down again. And then telling Prim that she's gonna come back, saying goodbye to Gale. Like, all of these things I love. I love the moments that she tries to do something right. I love the moments where she tries to not play the game of, well, the rebellion. The rebellion is this huge game, and you can tell that it is a huge game. And the whole time, and she's, if we're gonna relate this to a game, let's relate it to chess. I feel like she's the queen. The one that you don't really know what's gonna happen, and she kind of does what she wants, and you can't really control her too much. And I do really like that. But at the same time, I don't know. There's just that's kind of where it ends. This whole story, it's like what I said with Harry Potter, it's more focused on the world, it's more focused on the rebellion. We could have had anyone be Katniss, because at times she did seem a little bland, and she did seem kind of like a bystander, the one who was just standing there. And yes, when she was demanding and she was angry and she had that fire and she wanted to defy someone, and we saw those glimpses of rebellion in herself for this game of chess they were kind of playing, that was the point that I loved it, okay? I loved her at that. I was like, yeah! The whole time going, like, wanting, you know, just rereading those lines, because it was like, that was just a great speech. Let's read it again. Oh, that was such a funny part how she did this. Let's read it again. I loved all of that. But at the other times, it seriously did just seem like she was a bystander. She was the one just waiting in the wings. Like, very much like the queen. You don't take your queen and move her all around. You start with the pawns, and then you use the other ones, and you kind of save the queen for these times that you know you can get that fatal blow. Like, really. Like, I don't play a lot of chess, but from what I have played and from what I've seen other people play, the queen is kind of that. You want to make sure that the queen and the king are safe. You definitely want to make sure the king is safe, but the queen is the one you need to keep safe, because the queen is your wild card. If you see an opening and it's safe and it will be fatal, you're going to take it and you're going to use your queen. Otherwise, the queen kind of just is there. A threatening presence, but is there. And that's kind of how I feel Katniss is. She's this threatening and awesome presence, but at times she's just there. She goes back and lives her normal life, and she goes back and in the game, she plays the games. And, you know, but when she fights, don't get me wrong, it's awesome when she fights. And really, there's only these random moments that are just so awesome and that actually stick out to me. If you asked me to tell you the entire story and like coherently, I probably couldn't, because I would automatically just go to all those amazing parts. I'd go to her sneaking out. I'd go to her volunteering for Prim. I'd go to her and Peeta almost dying for each other. I'd go to her making that awesome speech after that fight. I'd go to her for when she's singing. I'd go to her for when she tries to stop them from killing that person and on their like victory tour or whatever. In there, that's when I would go to her. I'd go to her for going off script. I'd go to her for all of that. Those are the points that I go to in my head. Whereas, you know, the other points, they're kind of just there. They're really kind of just there. That's how don't get me wrong, I do love Katniss, and I do really like Katniss, and I do really think that she is strong and independent, because she does rebel. If someone tries to control her, oh, does she rebel. And when she rebels, oh, does she rebel. And it is amazing, but the other times, she's very quiet and more just passive. Like I said, I do like her, and I do love how strong of a character she is, but it's like when I talked about Trish. I do really like Trish, but at the same time, there's a lot of other characters going on, and they want to focus more on the world and on the rebellion. Like I said for Harry Potter, replace them with anybody and it's still the same game. So I really like her, and I do really like the series. She's my second favorite character of the whole series. There's only one that tops it, and that's just because he's hilarious. But other than that, she is kind of the queen of this chess game. The one waiting in the wings to do whatever she wants. Queen does whatever she wants, she moves whatever direction she wants. Katniss definitely does that. She doesn't follow the rules, she doesn't have a set pattern, she doesn't have a set rule, she just goes and she does it, and she lets her emotions kind of guide her as well. I do like that she also has that emotional side. And there is that logical side, I guess. But she really shines when her emotions are driving what she's doing. That's when she shines. That's what I believe, at least. So that's Katniss Everdeen, the girl on fire. Next time we'll be doing Peeta Mellark, the guy on fire. Nah, he doesn't really get that awesome name. It only works for Katniss. It really does only work for Katniss. But next time, we're going to be doing Peeta, and then we're going to go on to a couple other characters in this series. So check out my world review if you haven't already checked that out. And thanks for watching. Bye!